So Alessandro Pavanello is joining me from, I guess, what some people are referring to as Camp COVID, somewhere outside Shanghai. Um, how are you doing, Alessandro?
I'm holding up. It's yeah, not not too bad. I trying to stay positive
Yeah.
and go through this whole situation because there's it's something you have to do. If you test positive here in China, you have to go through this ordeal. So I'm just dealing with this as best as I can.
T Tell me about your experience. How did you get to where you are today?
So it started off with a negative antigen test on the 26th of March. Then, sorry, not a negative, a positive antigen test on the 26th of March. After that, a positive nucleic acid test, PCR test on the 29th of March, and another positive nucleic acid test on the 2nd of April. Then I was left at home up until the 9th of April. And by the way, on the 5th, of April, I had another antigen test, which resulted negative this time.
Wait, so from March 26th till April 5th, you're talking about almost 10 days there from your first positive test. The Chinese government didn't immediately take you and bring you to a facility.
No, they didn't. They left me, they closed me in at home, basically. They didn't allow me to get out of my house. And I had literally not guards, but the guys wearing the hazmat suits at the front of my building's entrance to make sure that I would have not left my house. And after that, on the 9th, I was picked up and brought to, let me show you, this wonderful place.
Can you walk a little bit for me? So this is, what was this before it was a COVID facility?
It was an expo center, I think, esports. So these are, I'm assuming, booths where people were selling stuff that have been remade into beds, rooms. So you have.
So is it four of you, or two of you to each booth?
Yeah. I'll show you where I'm living. I'll show you my hood.
So the Chinese, they do mandatory testing. They come to your place, you test positive several times, and then they say, please come with us.
Oh, you need only one positive test in order to be forced to come to one of these places. I think the reason why they kept me at home for so long is because they didn't have enough spaces left. And so they were waiting for some of these to free up.
Yeah.
This is where I live. Sorry about the mess. I'm a messy guy.
No apologies necessary, my friend. Do they? So what do you get? You get a cot?
This is like a camping bed with a sort of weird mattress, a pillow, a towel. We also get our own. I don't remember how you call these.
A bucket.
What do you call this one? A bucket. That's the word. And a toothpaste and a toothbrush, courtesy of the Chinese government, and that's it. So I have this guy next to me, and then these two guys in front of me.
Have you become friends with your roommates there?
Not really. On the contrary, the reason why I slept 2 hours is because they woke up at 3 in the morning and they started talking super loudly, and I shouted at them, and then they did the same exact thing at 5 a.m. But at that point, I had already lost my sleep. So we're not friends anymore.
Do you speak Chinese?
Yeah, I can get around. Like I can talk to the nurses and understand what I'm supposed to do and what's my situation. But like those guys are old people and they don't really speak Putonghua, which is the ordinary Chinese, the one that you study at school. I mean, they do, but they speak it with very strong accents or dialects. So I don't necessarily understand everything they say. I would have an easier time with a younger person because they would probably speak much more common Chinese, or at least common sounding Chinese.
Are there other non-Chinese in the facility with you?
I'm the only foreigner, the Italiano in the COVID center.
you have to take notes here. You have to write a book about this, or at least an article about
Oh.
this at some point.
I'm documenting everything, that's for sure. So I'm taking a lot of videos and trying to create awareness of a situation, which I think is well, it's sad for me that I'm Italian, but I think it's sad also for a Chinese person to be treated in this way and to be put in such conditions. I'll show you the bathrooms as well, or part of the bathrooms, because
Yeah, I saw you had a bucket and a small towel. What do the bathrooms include?
Like they include this guy. So he's washing his face, but people wash their hair on the sink because we have no showers. And then, well, inside there's bathrooms. I don't know if you want to see the bathrooms necessarily, but they're. Do you want to see them?
How are they keeping them? Is it relatively clean?
Ish.
Ish.
Kind of
So
dirty.
no showers, so you have to wash yourself in the sink.
Like this guy is doing, literally.
Yeah.
He's washing himself on the basin there, but yeah.
How many people are in this facility? Do you have like an estimate of how many people?
I don't have an estimate of people, but
Yeah.
I think it's something on the lines of a few thousand, maybe one or two, because
So
there's this.
Yeah, it's a few thousand people, all tested positive, all brought to this warehouse, all living together in this open air warehouse.
Correct. And the funniest thing is that I was feeling really good, like fully recovered after the 5th of April. And I did a COVID test yesterday and it tested positive again. Which means, and I'm assuming this, either I'm still the same strain of COVID that I got in the first place, but it's been a while now and I doubt it. Or, just living for 3 days, 2 days, actually, in an environment like this, I may have caught another different strain. So I have a theory now that this is like a center to create the super Chinese, the strongest Chinese ever, which will be immune to any
all of the
sort
conspiracy, all the conspiracy theories will turn true, huh?
Yes. So yeah, I'll get out of here super strong and super immune to everything. Thanks God.
The facility, are there any people who are suffering very badly, or is it all like, what's the nature of how most people are doing with their COVID in the facility?
It looks like most people will be doing fine. There's a lot of coughing, but I think that's kind of normal and it's not necessarily related to COVID. But overall, so honestly, I don't know exactly because I haven't spoken to pretty much anyone directly. But from the way that it looks, people are active, people are going around, cleaning themselves, taking a walk. We have moments during the day where we can go out in the main area, which I cannot show you right now because it's closed. There's like a huge, probably used to be a parking lot in front of this expo center. And
yeah, I was watching your videos. It's like it looks like a prison yard, basically, where you can walk a little bit. Yeah,
exactly, prison yard, and we can go out there. And if we want to walk around at night and see stuff, I guess the back here. I'll show you real quick.
If you aren't feeling well, are there doctors there available for people?
Doctors will be seeing you only if you're about to die, I guess. If you're reaching death. Apart from that, you're not supposed to receive any medical treatment. You sign actually a contract. You sign a paper at the beginning saying that you will not receive any medical treatment unless you're about to, like you're in critical conditions.
So that's even like painkillers, like a basic, like.
Oh yeah, they don't give us any medicine.
How many meals a day are you getting there?
3 meals a day. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
How would you describe the meals you've been getting?
My stomach has not been reacting that well to them. Let's put it this way. They okay. It's Chinese food, and it does its job. I guess it fills your stomach, but it doesn't taste great. And again, maybe because I'm more sensitive to this kind of food, but it's been acting a bit weird with me on my stomach, and it's making me feel not so comfortable. But the thing is that right now in Shanghai, it's actually very hard to buy any food, vegetables, fruits, meat, eggs. and water. So people outside of these camps are struggling to buy, to have a meal, basically. People's fridges are empty because the shops are closed, the delivery services are very limited, and it feels like a lot of the resources are actually coming this way. So all the food is coming to these facilities. So yeah.
How tense is it in there? Are you seeing people upset, fighting, frustrated, or is it pretty calm?
Mine is pretty calm. Where my girlfriend is, actually, they have fights on a regular basis.
Wait, what happened to your girlfriend?
She's in a different isolation camp. She's on the other side of the river, basically, of the Huangpu River. I can see her camp, I think, but we have been separated because she actually was taken on the 30th of March, if I'm not mistaken, because she tested positive one day before me, which, by the way, proves the fact that there were so many cases at the very beginning that the fact that they took her in 4 days after she tested positive, and for me it was like almost 8 or 9 days after. It means that they had so many people coming in all at once at the very beginning that they had filled all of these isolation centers and they didn't have any more space for anybody. So they had to wait a little bit, either to build new ones or for people to start leaving some of these.
And
feels like very badly organized operation. Sorry, go ahead.
Has she, how do you guys communicate?
We keep in touch via WeChat, which is it's a messaging app, very common messaging app here in China. And we text during the day, and then we have a video call to just check on each other. She's Ukrainian, so she's going through a lot right now, and she's been in one of these isolation centers for 16 days. Tomorrow it's her 17th day.
How does one get? Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you get released from the isolation center? How does that work?
So that's the thing. You should have 2 negative tests in a row. And then once you have 2 negative tests, you are allowed to be put on a sort of release list. So a list with your name in, who's going to be, this list is going to be given to a person that doesn't work in the same facility where you are. It has to be reviewed. And only after it has been reviewed and approved, then they need to arrange for transportation. So this whole process after the 2 negative tests, for her, she tested negative for the last time on the 8th of April. So she had 7th of April and 8th of April negative test. So okay, she's good to go. And she's still there because they haven't obtained the approval or they haven't been able to arrange transport. So, that period can have very, very different timings after the 2 negative tests.
How does it work in China? I mean, you've been there 6.5 years. Have you learned to be, pretty deferential to the authorities and the government there?
Yeah, I guess you have to. I have this philosophy. I'm a guest here, right? So I have to abide with China and the Chinese laws. That's why I'm here, I guess, because I didn't make a big story out of it. But I've always been a respectable citizen that respects the place where he lives in. However, I feel like this whole experience has changed the perspective that we foreigners have towards China. Here, a lot of us, me included, are planning to leave.
Oh, really? So after this particular experience, you're like, I can't be here anymore.
Yeah, well, you literally, you don't feel like a human being anymore once you're inside one of these centers. And my fear, this is just, I'm not 100% sure it's going to happen, but my fear is that it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse than this, and it's going to be even more dangerous for a foreigner to be here. It's a feeling. I don't know if that's actually going to be the case, but I don't want to see if it's going to become true or not.
How have you been in China during the entirety of COVID?
I have been in China, yes, since, well, not the entirety, because I came back on the 14th of, 10th of February, 2020. So it kind of had started at the end of January. let's say I missed the first couple of weeks, but then after that, since February 2020, I have been in China the whole time.
And can you tell me what's different about right now versus the last 2 years of lockdowns and restrictions?
Well, last few years, actually, it seemed that they had dealt with the whole outbreak in actually a pretty good manner. So in 2020, I remember when I came back from the United States, I had to do a 2 weeks home quarantine, but that was it. And I remember the streets of Shanghai were empty. Nobody was going out. And I guess that kind of worked in their favor to stop the virus. And then every once in a while, a few, the new strains would pop up. But what the government would do, they would know exactly who, well, first of all, tested positive, and they could connect this person to each and every person that he or she had entered in contact with and isolate them. So I remember, I think that was 2021, maybe January 2021. There were a few cases here in Shanghai, and they just closed down a road because the cases were specifically in that road, and it worked. But it feels that this strain here is much more contagious. However, the symptoms feel much lighter compared to the others. So they're trying to fight something that spreads very easily, and this is what happens.
I mean, you've traveled in the West. You're from Italy. How would Westerners react to this sort of situation? Versus how the Chinese people have reacted to how the government is managing it.
I really want to have some chats with people that have foreigners that have been in these centers like me. I think most of us know that there's nothing we can do, so we just deal with it. What I've done is I've made it a story. I tried to make as many Instagram videos and share them, and luckily the response has been amazing so far. But I know just a lot of people that are here. They wait and wait. They try to protect themselves as much as possible. I guess they try to not go around. They're not happy. They feel like they have been, violated. Everyone feels like everyone who's been in these places feel like he's been violated. And the germs and the conditions, the very unhealthy condition, it's a combination of things that makes you think, why are they doing this to people?
It doesn't seem like it's positive for public health to isolate people like this, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Correct. I mean, I was doing a live interview with an Italian television which included an expert, and once he saw this, he was just like horrified, and he just mentioned that there's no way that you can fight off a virus in a situation like this, because it just keeps spreading. And sure, at some point everyone's gonna get each and every possible strain of COVID, but at what cost? Not just physically, but psychologically. I don't think everyone is happy. I talked with one guy, which I think may be representative of a certain kind of individual that comes to these places, and he was very happy because he was getting a free meals. No, so yeah, that he didn't have to pay for free meals a day. Free meals a day. He was very happy about that.
That's how he's spinning it positively.
Yeah. But I can see a lot of younger people that they look like they're sad. They look like they're hopeless. And again, I'm taking a different approach, which is playing it stupid, going around making videos. But deep inside, I'm, again, trying to stay as positive as I possibly can. But it hurts in a weird way. I don't know how to explain it. It hurts and it doesn't feel human. And I guess, again, that's why I'm very looking forward to leaving China as soon as all of this ends, start preparing stuff.
Where do you find that optimism? Your videos are like, you're telling a story. I saw like the montage of like various people spitting in the garbage can. You're taking it in the yard. You're introducing me to the roommate who leaves his phone on very loudly.
Oh my God.
Where do you find that positivity? Where does that come from?
I think that was just, it's always been the way I am. So I've grown up trying to be a positive guy, a cheerful guy. And I guess I just didn't want a situation like this to take over and, ruin what I think is a good part of me. So, sometimes it's hard because you start feeling a bit sad and you're like, oh, why am I doing this? What's happening here? But then you're like, you know what? Let's just give it a go. Let's just try and cheer yourself up. And that's why I make those videos. And, also Instagram has kept me busy. A lot of people showing their support, a lot of people showing their love, which helps.
You've gained thousands and thousands of followers. I think 14 to 15,000 at this point, my friend.
In 3 days, I know, it's crazy to even just think about it. But yeah, the support of people has been helpful for me. There's nothing you can say about that. Each and every person saying that they are feeling for me, it helps me feel better about myself and making me want to take this in a more positive and uplifting way rather than the negative way.
Wait, flip the camera again. Show me the room.
Yes.
Are you able to? Great. When do they turn off? Do they turn off those lights?
Yes, they do. Luckily, I know the center where my girlfriend is, they do not turn the lights, which is it's very bad for health, sleeping with the lights on. But what they do is they keep maybe 2 rows on at night. So maybe these last 2 rows or the middle 2 rows, which, if you're directly under one of those lights, it's daytime for you. But if you're lucky enough, maybe you can get some darkness.
So you showed me the bathroom. Where do you guys eat your meals?
On the beds. You sit on the bed.
They deliver it to your bed.
Yeah, on the bedside table. That's as good as it gets.
I think I know the answer to this, but if you had an issue or a request or you want to be moved or you need something, what is the customer service like there?
Are you talking about customer service? No, the customer service here on the guys, all the nurses at the front with the hazmat suits. Let's see if I can get a snapshot of them. And they are all very stressed and very unhelpful.
So the people who work there don't have COVID, but have to work with all the COVID people. Is that right?
Yes. So I guess for them, it's really very, very stressful because they must be afraid of getting it. Here they are.
Oh, hold on. Wait, hold on. Go back. That's the front desk. Oh, I see. They're all wearing full hazmat suits. Okay.
Exactly. And that's the courtyard, but I'm not allowed to go past this.
What time do they close the courtyard for you? Yeah.
I think sometime around 7:30/8. Technically, if I could be cheeky and maybe I could walk out and just say I need to grab some fresh air or I need the signal to be a bit better. But usually if they're in a bad mood, they just say, no, go back in.
Yeah, it's one of the things I'm curious at, you've now been there more than 6 years in China. And I was talking to other folks and they're like, I said, well, what's the rule? What's the punishment if you do something? And other people are like,
no punishment.
Okay.
Yeah, in this case, sorry, I interrupted you. But in this case, there's no such punishment. They just start shouting at you until they obtain what they wanted in the first place.
Mm-hmm. So you arrived there and they basically brought you to your bed, or they gave you a number and said, go find your bed?
Yeah. No, sorry. They brought me to my bed. They accompanied me to my bed because they also need to know where I am.
And I should ask, if you want to wash your clothes or your sheets, can you do that?
For me, it may be hard because I don't have soap. Maybe I could ask them if they have some, but I see a lot of people here. Actually, let me see if I can get a picture of that. They dry their clothes outside. So they have hanging areas where they dry their clothes.
So the same sink where you're showering, the same sink where you're washing your hands is also the same sink where you're washing your clothes.
Same sink where they spit all the time too, if that makes any difference. So yeah, very unsanitary conditions.
And are the women and men kept separate or together? Or? How does that
Yeah.
work?
I think it seems like maybe a couple would be allowed to stay in the same room, but then it's men and women separated from each other.
Given that you and your girlfriend tested positive at the same time, was there any shot that you guys would be taken together to a
We
facility?
didn't really know much about the operations and the way that they were going to handle this. So she was called in first, and she just left. I let her leave, and I stayed at home because I didn't know that we may have ended up in separate places. If I had known, I would have probably fought for going with her at the same time.
Mhm.
But so yeah, here you see where they dry some clothes and
I
stretch
see.
a little bit and have a smoke.
Yeah. Are you how are you getting your exercise?
I'm walking around a lot, but I need to pick up. I brought I don't know how you call the ones to do push-ups. The
Yeah.
things that you, instead of putting your hands on the floor, you use these devices to do push-ups. But I've been having such bad sleep in the past few days that doing physical activity has proven hard for me, mentally speaking. Like mentally speaking, I'm very tired right now because I had a average of 4 hours sleep the first 2 nights. Last night it was 2 hours, and my body is just starting to feel the tiredness.
So beyond Instagram, how else are you keeping busy all day?
Instagram, taking videos for Instagram, and no, I'm talking with friends and family as well, of course. That keeps me busy for several hours per day as well. But yeah, mostly it's a phone and phone. I'm not even read. I brought books, but I don't have the strength to read. I brought my computer, but I don't want to watch movies. I try to stay as connected as I can with people because obviously in this situation, like an Italian surrounded by Chinese in an isolation center, I feel a bit left out.
Yeah. Have you been in touch with the Italian government, by the way? Can they provide you any assistance?
Yeah. Unfortunately, they cannot. They tried, but every single individual that tests positive needs to go through the same procedures, apparently. I'm hoping that me becoming Instagram famous is gonna make a difference, maybe. But if not, yeah, I'll just have to stick with this place. I tried, because a hotel accommodation obviously would be much better and much more humane than this.
Yeah.
But it's something that they just don't allow easily. I know that people from other countries, from the UK and the US, have had a better setup. They were brought to one of these centers, but then they were taken to a hotel. But I guess it also depends on who you are and the connections that you have. That's very important. So I'm trying to be put in a better situation, but I don't know. Guess we'll have to find out and see if anything happens.
Well, I wish you luck there. Tell me, I was curious. You packed a bag. What's the best thing you brought? And then what is the thing you most regret not packing with you?
The best thing I brought, probably tissues, because they don't have tissues around here. There's like one big roll of toilet paper and you have to go and pick it up for yourself. So probably tissues is going to be a lifesaver and for the next few days. And you know what? I would have brought an umbrella if I had known. Why? Because I could put it, you see there's carton boards here as a corner. It's to protect the people that are sleeping from the light. And I think an umbrella would have been probably a good substitute to the cardboard, and maybe also a good protection from the light. So right now, one of my main struggles is that I get a lot of light, even if I have one of those things that you put in on top of your eyes, the one that they give you in the airplanes. But it's still not enough. And so yeah, an umbrella, I guess.
So please keep me up to date. I'm sure you're going to keep us all up to date on Instagram. On when you get your first negative test, your second negative test.
Oh yeah.
And is there any way people from the outside can send you anything?
Nope. We are completely isolated from the outside world. Only, I guess, selected vehicles can come inside, and they're just vehicles to bring in food or swabs, PCR tests, and the likes. But yeah, no way that anyone can send me a package right now, for example.
Well, Alessandro, we're all thinking about you. We appreciate
Appreciate
you
it.
being so open about your experience and wishing you, to the extent possible, inside a warehouse of thousands of sick people, a quick recovery and a negative test, my friend.